Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very special and very personal broadcast of The Grove from Bernard Alvarez, myself. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. Today, we are going to switch up the format a little bit. You will notice some parts will be missing. We're not going to do the intention, we're not going to do two meditations. We'll just be doing one at the end. But as usual with well, actually, let me give you a little introduction of what's going on today. Now that I've mentioned that we're changing the format a little bit, um, this this particular broadcast is a very personal story for me. It's a very intimate discussion about what life is like, living, loving, um, having someone in your life that you care for that suffers from substance abuse disorder. I am one of those people. I don't have substance abuse disorder. I have someone very close to me that has substance abuse disorder. So I might as well put out the disclaimers now and say that this broadcast in no way condones the use or abuse of substances. This broadcast is strictly to support those with a story of empowerment, of uh, doing the best that we can, and to live authentically. And this is a part of me being authentic with you. Somebody had said to me, "Why would you share something so personal and so intimate?" I'm like, I have always been honest with my supporters, my followers, my audience, as far as what's going on with me. So why would this be any different? It's not something that we should be ashamed of. It's, if anything, I feel that over the last couple of years, it's been very difficult, especially for those who are in recovery, for those who were borderline abusers of substances. This may have caused people to relapse. This may have caused people to drink too much or to, oh, I don't know. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get rid of something blinking on my screen here. Okay, sorry about that. Uh, to overdo it and trying to numb ourselves with what's been going on in the world. I'm sorry, that thing is blinking again. I'm trying to get rid of it. What is going on here? So this is a casual discussion. Sorry, guys. Okay, hopefully that'll do it. Yes, good. That was going to make me crazy. Um, anyway, so also you're going to be hearing a little bit about different 12-step recovery programs, not only for those with substance abuse, but for friends and family. I do not speak for them. I do not endorse them per se. I'm only going to be able to share with you what my personal experience is, period. That's my personal experience. This will be my personal experience, and hopefully you will find some comfort, some inspiration, and maybe some suggestions that you can use on your own personal journey, either as someone with substance abuse disorder or knowing and loving someone with substance abuse disorder. So I am going to start with the invocation. I do want to do that. So let's take a moment. Let's call the goddess to come join us and support us. O great goddess, lady of the night and the silvery moon, she whom is the darkness and the light that shines through it. Hail to thee, great lady of the moon. Hear us, your children, as we ask of your divine presence here within our sacred circle of light, where we have come to partake of the great beauty, strength, and wisdom within each and every one of us. Blessed be. Before we get into the talk, I just want to say hello to a few of you here on the chat. I see we're chatting away already. Hi, Don on Facebook. Good to see you. Hi, Pam on Facebook. And hello, Brian on YouTube. So glad that you're here to join us today. Thank you. All right, so little mini disclaimer. I already did all the legal disclaimers. Now let me do the personal disclaimers. As they say in Al-Anon, we call them our alcoholic. So my alcoholic knows I'm doing this. I'm not hiding this from them. They did not say I couldn't do it. Of course, I will not be naming names. However, those of you that are very close to me or that live locally know who it is, and they are they're very forward about the fact that they're in recovery. So maybe they found that even me talking about it will be helpful to their own program. So where do I start? Let me start with my friendship with this person. I met this person at a protest. Should have been my first clue. I met this person at a protest. We were, it was a rally for equality to promote, this was before LGBT marriage, but it was to promote LGBT marriage. And I believe we were like protesting Kirk Cameron or something. You know, he was coming to town and the whole community was in an uproar because he had just said something really awful and despicable. And this was during my Occupy years where I was going to any protest I could. You know, if there was one, is there a protest tonight? I'm going. But so I'm at the protest with one of the leaders in the community, in the LGBT community, and this person kept driving by and honking the horn. And I'm like, who is this lunatic? Didn't know who it was. Never met him before. Anyway, they got out of their car and they introduced themselves and whatnot. And I had found out that they had a monthly event that they hosted for the community here in Roanoke. And I went to the event and we started talking. We hit it off. We ended up becoming, let's just say we were best friends within a month. This person became my person. You know, we all have that person who's your person that you can rely on, and that is, you know, your best friend. I've had many best friends, not many, I've had about 3 best friends in my life, but this was my Roanoke best friend. And we ended up hanging out and stuff, you know, going to different events and whatnot. And at that time, I did not know about the fact that he had substance abuse disorder, as well as other mental health issues. Usually they kind of go hand in hand in my experience from what I've observed. And we kind of, I don't want to say we drifted apart, but I had I'm like, there's something going on here that I don't like. And I had chosen to kind of distance myself from this person. And one day I get a phone call from a neighbor who says, aren't you so-and-so's best friend? He's wandering the streets, completely obliterated, out of his mind. And I'm like, what? You know, what's going on? They're like, you better go get him. He's going to get arrested. I'm like, what? So I found them in their home. I went over to their home. I found them completely inebriated from alcohol. Alcohol is their drug of choice. And I proceeded to bring them back to my place and get them cleaned up, got them into a detox center the next day. Guess he was ready to go to detox. And you know, he was fine. He went to AA, started going to AA all the time and whatnot. But somewhere along the line, he stopped going as much as he should. I kind of knew that he wasn't doing a program. For those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, in recovery, or especially in 12-step programs, you can be sober, but that's not the program. The program isn't just being sober. It's also doing the steps and working on yourself. So, and I could tell there wasn't a lot of self-work being done. And unfortunately, one of the roles, one of the suggestions that they have is you shouldn't get into a relationship with someone your first 12 months of sobriety. Well, he got into a relationship with somebody. Within 3 months, they had broken up with him, and he relapsed. So within a year, he had relapsed again. So same thing. Let him get it out of his system. Talked him into going into back into detox, and he did. And so this is back in 2011, 2012. This went on annually. It's fair to say he's a chronic relapser. This went on annually till about 2017 or 2018. I forgot when he met his partner. Well, married his partner, I should say. And but during those relapses and whatnot, yeah, I struggled for 2 or 3 days because I was worried about him. I was able to get him into detox, and he kind of cleaned up his act, and he was very resilient, bounced right back. So I thought everything was fine. I had started going to Al-Anon back then, and they're like, you know what, mind your own business. This is about you, your program. That's about them and their program. I was like hiding the alcohol, and they're like, no, don't hide the alcohol. They live in a world with alcohol, So I was doing everything I could to protect them and calling their boss and making excuses for why they're not going to work. And they're like, no excuses. That's their path. And, you love someone, you want to protect them, you want to take care of them. And especially when it comes to something so deadly, literally deadly. I will say that the last relapse that he had living with me, by the way, we've been living together since about 2014, 2015, except when he left for that year and a half to be with his partner. But the last relapse he had, his blood alcohol level was 4.0, lethal. They said one more day he would have been dead. That's the reality of substance abuse disorder. When they say one is too many and 1,000 is never enough, they're not kidding. And to watch this with my own eyes and, not knowing what to do, there's just, you try to hide everything, and, I'm hiding all the alcohol, I'm hiding out back, drinking my alcohol in the basement, trying to maintain some sanity and normalcy, trying to, work and whatnot. Meanwhile, I'm having anxiety and can't focus and whatnot. So when he ended up getting married, I was like, oh man, finally, he's going to get married. Everything's going to be okay. He's out of the woods. But in the back of my mind, when I found out that they were moving to Pennsylvania, I was like, oh, but he's moving to Pennsylvania. He's not going to have a support structure up there. What's going to happen when he relapses? What's his husband going to do? Is his husband just going to lose it? I mean, he's going to have nobody, So that was, again, my I guess, I don't know what they call it. In Al-Anon, what they call it. My addiction was trying to help this person. Well, lo and behold, I got a call back in December of 2021 from the husband saying, I can't take it. I can't take it. He's drinking again. He won't leave the room. All he's doing is drinking. I'm going nuts, blah, blah, blah. And, I tried to be supportive with the husband. And I'm like, look, you've been through this with him once before. Get him into detox and get that stuff out of his system and get him to start going back to meetings again. That's the only thing that's going to help him. And he said, well, let's just say he wasn't open to that. He wanted him out. And I'm like, well, what am I supposed to do? He's like, I'll rent you a car. Please come get him. I didn't have a car at the time. So I rented a car, drove up there and got him, brought him back, got him into detox again for the 7th time. And he had it rough. He was the partner had filed for divorce. It was very difficult. It took him a good month and a half to get back on his feet. He ended up getting a great job. Still has it to this day. He ended up getting a great job. He's got his confidence back. but he never went to meetings. He told us he was going to meetings. He told us he was working a program. And about last August, September, this was right before we were going on vacation, because I finally got him to go to Miami with me. I'm like, you've got to come to Miami with me. It's my home. I want to show you where I live. You're my best friend. I want you to meet my other best friend. And a little bit before that, he started acting strange, started getting very, very moody. I noticed for a fact that he was not going to his meeting. Back then, I was like, you need to go to at least one meeting a week. I knew he wasn't going to meetings. And he just got very short with me, very argumentative, very sneaky. I don't know if you know what I mean by that, but you can tell they're being sneaky about something. And I'm like, what is going on here? And, you know, my intuition, I'm very proud of my intuition. And my intuition was going red flag, red flag, red flag. I'm like, he's doing something. There's something really sick and twisted going on here. And I couldn't put my finger on it. I would try to do a reading. I couldn't. The cards were just like all convoluted. I'm not good at reading for myself. I can read for you beautifully. But for me, I have a very hard time seeing clearly, especially when I'm emotionally invested in what the reading is supposed to be about. And I just knew there was something wrong. He would disappear at night. He would disappear into the basement. And I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm building a man cave down there. He's like, this house is small. I need my own space. I'm like, oh, okay, well, that seems reasonable. You know, they had just cleaned the basement up. We had, you know, leftover lawn furniture we weren't using. It was turning into a living room. I was like, whatever, cool. You want to hang out there, chat with your friends, God knows, do whatever you want on Grindr. I don't know. But I was like, none of my business. But so unfortunately, about almost to the day today, 2 weeks ago, I want to say, was it 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago? 2 or 3 weeks ago to the day. I saw my cat loves to play with anything. A paper clip, a piece of tinfoil, you know, whatever. She finds something that is not a part of the house and she will tear it up, rip it apart. Well, anyway, I'm like, what is she doing? She's going crazy on this stuff. And it turns out Luna was playing with one of those little tiny plastic Ziploc baggies. I'm like, oh boy. So what do? I open it up, stick my pinky in there. I'm like, damn good thing it was empty. You could have killed my damn cat. So what do? I search their room. I find about another dozen empty baggies. I go down to the basement to look at the man cave and find different types of paraphernalia. I won't go into too much detail. But needless to say, it was not alcohol. And so I was not prepared in any way. Later that day, thank God I had, during all of this time, let me back up a little bit. During all this time, because I felt my intuition was so off, and I did have a trauma last summer, I was like, you know what, I'm feeling off. Let me start going to therapy. So I started going to therapy, and they said, you have PTSD. I'm like, we all have PTSD. But they're like, no, you really have it. And thank God that day I was going to therapy, and they're like, do not make any decisions. Sit down, be compassionate, talk to them about making a plan. So that's what I did. I sat down with them. I said, look, I know you're using. I know it's not alcohol because I would have known if it was alcohol months ago. And I know that you've been using for several months now. I also know, I found this out from his mother, that he had a new partner, new boyfriend. For about 6 months. I had no clue. That's how sneaky he was being. I mean, not that I care. I mean, we have no affection in that way. I care in the sense of recovery. I was like, why are you hiding this? You're hiding this because you're ashamed of it, because you know you're not ready for it. You got divorced 2-3 months ago and you're in recovery. Anyway, That's what we do. We're like, I can't believe you're doing this. I did remain calm, never raised my voice. And so I said, we need to make a plan. I said, I'll give you, let's sit down over the next couple of days. I'm like, I know that you're probably going to still do whatever you're doing, but let's make a plan over the next couple of days about getting you back in recovery, because if you're going to use, you cannot live here. I don't feel safe with illegal things in the house. I'm sorry, you cannot have, especially finding a little baggie with the cat. So every night I was like, ready to sit down and talk? No, I got to go somewhere. Ready to sit down and talk? No, I got to go somewhere. Ready to... Finally, Sunday night, I had it. I did lose my temper, and I was like, that's it. I'm done. He went to go see his boyfriend or whatever, and I called his mom. I said, listen, I need to loop you in on what's going on. This is what gave her the history of what is happening. And we stayed on the phone for quite a while trying to figure out what to do. Here we are, it's what you do when you love someone. You try to figure out how you can heal them, especially as a healer, especially as, Bernard, the empowerment dude and the nonprofit supporter guy that, I take care of everybody, but I couldn't take care of him. It was driving me crazy. And come Monday, Monday morning, I took away his house keys and I said, listen, you have a choice right now. You can either go to detox or you can continue doing what you're doing, and you cannot stay in this house. You can come here to take a shower. You can come here, but you cannot sleep here. And he disappeared. He disappeared for a week. And I found out last Saturday, not this past Saturday, but the Saturday before, that he had gone to a local friend's house, someone who is a very well-known and respected community leader in the neighborhood. Apparently, he used for 2 more days, realized he needed to do something, and went to this person's house to detox, and he did. He stayed there from Wednesday through Sunday, and called me that last Sunday morning. I told him, I said, okay, you can come home now. You're detoxed. Going back to a meeting, going to a meeting tonight. Okay, give it a try. I'll give you 7 days and we'll see what happens. And everything was great. Going to a meeting every night. And at that point is when I decided it was time for me to take care of myself. So that Monday, after discussing with him, having returned from the house to the house, I started going to Al-Anon again. And it was the best thing I could do. It was the best thing I could do for myself. Now, I am new to the program. I don't know enough to advise other people who are in Al-Anon. It would be fair to say I achieved the first step yesterday, and I've been in Al-Anon for about a week now. Been going almost every night. But and I want to say something before I forget, because I'm on a roll and my mind has a one-track mind. During this time, I was very public about how I was feeling. I wasn't going into too much detail like I am now about what was happening, but I was very public about what I was feeling and my concern for my best friend on my personal Facebook profile. I was concerned about my well-being, about my financial well-being. He pays half the bills. He didn't have the money to pay for the bills. Anyway, I just want to thank you to all the wonderful letters, messages of support. Thank you for covering his half of the bills. I appreciate it, all of you on Facebook or wherever you were, YouTube, whoever ended up sending me Venmo and PayPal. I was able to cover the bills. Thank you. I would have really been in a lot of trouble. But I am so honored and so grateful to have such a supportive community out there. So again, just thank you. I'm humbled. So anyway, I started going to Al-Anon, and everything was great last week. Now, Saturday night, and one of the things that I said, I was like, one of the things, conditions, which we're not supposed to do that, I found out last night. One of the conditions I had, besides not using in the house or not using, was to not lie. I said, you cannot lie. No more sneaky. I'm like, I understand it's a part of the disease. I understand you have substance abuse disorder. And I know that causes people to, do things that I don't want to say normal people, but to lose your clarity on what is, morally right. You kind of lose your moral compass. And I know that you lie a lot to me. And I don't know if you're afraid of confrontation or if you're afraid of me judging you or whatnot. But I said, listen, if you slip, you slip. Be honest with me. I will support you if you are honest with me. But do not lie to me. You cannot lie to me. This is one of the conditions. Well, Saturday night, he lied to me about going to see the boyfriend. I'm like, why didn't you just say you're going to see the boyfriend? He disappeared on Saturday night. I had no idea where he was. 7 days in from detoxing, I'm flipping out. I'm like, that's it. He's out. He's out. I started moving his stuff out. And he showed up as I was moving his stuff out. I'm like, what are you doing? I'm like, well, you broke our agreement. You lied. You didn't tell me. You said you were going out to dinner. It's 11 o'clock. Dinner was at 6, 7. I'm like, you lied. Just let me know. Don't lie to me. Anyway, we worked it out. Well, we didn't work it out, trust me. But he is going to work. And we have both agreed that it's time for him to start finding another place to live. How long I will be able to tolerate waiting, I don't know. How long he'll be able to tolerate me slipping on my program, I don't know. But we have set a date, and I will probably be looking for another housemate in the near future. One of the hardest things is the idea of not having my best friend in my life, because I don't trust him anymore. I don't. I've lost 98% of the trust I had for him. Yeah, sure. I trust him to sleep in the house. Yeah. I trust him to go to work, but all of that, anything else? But as I was saying, I learned last night at the Al-Anon meeting, the real meaning of that first step. And that first step is the same step of the alcoholic, is admitting that alcohol and or drugs has made our life unmanageable, and that we're now ready to admit that we have no control over it. And I finally got it. I have no control over his use, not use, program, any of that. I have no control over that. Does it give me anxiety? Yes, of course it does. But it's not my place to do his program for him. One of the things I saw last week at an Al-Anon meeting, and I felt for them because that was me a couple years ago, a couple of parents had come in. And yes, I'm keeping it anonymous. I'm not giving you their name or what meeting it was. But this couple came in and they were desperate. You could tell. They were where I was a couple of weeks ago with the deer in the headlights. Like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And they were listening, and, they were listening to the Al-Anon meeting. And they were like, well, the father was like, well, I'm hearing what we can do about ourselves and how we can take care of ourselves, but I'm not hearing anything on how to make my son stop drinking. And they're like, that's not what we're about. Al-Anon is not about forcing someone to stop drinking. Al-Anon is about Nar-Anon and Crack-Anon or Meth-Anon. I'm sure they're all out there. Trust me, I've looked. The idea is that you're in charge of your own sanity and your own happiness. And it's something that I promoted for, 15 years. Little did I know I would have to apply it into someone with substance abuse disorder. But the reality of it is that we are in charge of our own happiness. We only have control over our own lives. And I think that's why I get so angry when I see people be so heartless with those with substance abuse disorder. Oh, well, they chose it. No, they didn't choose it. They did not choose it. Especially if they're in the midst of the using of the substance, they did not choose it. This is a brain wiring thing that just isn't quite right for them, and they have this strange compulsion, and it goes beyond using. I don't think people realize that alcoholism, addiction, substance abuse disorder, whatever you wish to call it, goes beyond just the use of drugs. There are a lot of underlying factors that affects the quality of their life. There's a lot of underlying factors that affects the way that they perceive life in general, and how they handle conflict, how they handle upheavals, things like that. So there's more to it than just the use. So, please have compassion with, if you have someone in your life that is using, please have compassion for the strangers that might be using. Alcoholics are not just, the quote unquote homeless guy lying on the sidewalk drinking. Alcoholics could be your attorney, could be your mother, could be your partner, could be your teacher. It could be anybody. It's not a one size fits all type of disease, and it is a disease. But when it comes to you, I used to always say that, I do say, harm none, do what you will. That's how I live my life. Harm none, do what you will. And I always thought that if anyone harmed me, my life, and my peace, I would have the clarity to make the adjustments needed to regain my center, to regain my peace, and to overcome that harm that was being perpetuated on me. It's not so much when it comes to substance abuse disorder. I have come to realize, finally, as of yesterday, I have absolutely no power over that. I have no power over caring about that person, loving that person. And sometimes I have no power of how I react with that person, which that's why I'm taking the time to take care of myself and explore different ways to have someone in your life who has that. Tonight I am exploring. I've been going to Al-Anon mostly this last week, but tonight I'm exploring something new. It's called Dharma Recovery. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of it, but it's a Buddhist-oriented version of it. So I'm looking forward to this. It's for alcoholics and their families, and they all meet at the same time. It's not like AA and Al-Anon where they keep it separate. Dharma's like everybody can come. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm going to check that out tonight. I think that'll be really, really cool. I can't help but I know I'm going over. I knew I would go over time today. But I will say, please, if you know someone who needs help, either as a family member or as a substance abuser, any substance, offer them AA, NA, offer them Al-Anon. Listen, if anything, just listen. If they want to talk to you, just listen to them. For those of you that do have people in your life that you love, don't make yourself crazy. Don't make yourself crazy. I made myself crazy. I did for a week there. And actually this last weekend, so much of my day off, I was anxious the whole time. But don't make yourself crazy. Take the steps that you can do to protect your peace. It's not, they used to say tough love in the 80s. I don't think it's about tough love. I think it's about self-love. And I feel that when we come to realize we don't have control over other people and their behavior, no matter what it is, we can start putting that energy inward. And that's what I'm hoping to do. I'll let you know how it goes. I may never talk about this again, but I said it on Facebook, and I promised everybody I was going to share what was going on, but I probably will again. I'll let you know how everything's going. Thank you, Melanie. Hi, Melanie. How are you on Facebook? Um, so yes, check out Al-Anon, Nar-Anon, AA. Check out Dharma. I'm telling you, well. I'll check it out tonight. Let you know if I like it. I want to say hello to a few of you before we wrap things up. I saw a few more jump on. Hello, Richard on Facebook. Hello. I don't know how to say that. Layuben. I like that. It's pretty on YouTube. Hello, Pam again. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Nick Peters on YouTube. And then, of course, hello, Melanie on Facebook. I want to thank you all for joining me, especially during this very uncomfortable show. I like to think that I'm very authentic with all of you, but this was a very personal experience to share this with you. So I thank you for listening. I hope that something resonated with you, and you'll do the work that you need to on the inside, and do what you can not to drive yourself crazy if you are living with someone with substance abuse disorder, no matter what it is. I am going to close the show with a meditation. I do want to say I am changing this week's meditation to the Serenity Prayer, of course. I probably won't do it very often, but let's go ahead and do it. Let's take a deep breath, and let's actually focus on the words. This has been my meditation, actually, the last few days, is resonating with each of the words. And I'm going to use the word universe. I don't like using God or goddess for this prayer or meditation. So let's take a deep breath. Take another deep breath in through your nose, filling your belly. Universe, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. Courage to change the things I can. And wisdom to know the difference. Blessed be. Thank you, everyone, for joining me. Let me give you a little update on my broadcast schedule. I do not have anything scheduled for next week. Unfortunately, because of the tumultuous way things are, I haven't been able to write any shows. Usually I have them written, weeks in advance. I haven't written anything. So next Tuesday's broadcast is TBD. I'm not sure if I'll be doing one, but for sure on March 22nd, we will be doing Ostara together, and I look forward to that. One of my favorites. They're all my favorite, but I love Ostara because, the whole Easter springtime thing. So we will be doing Ostara. I'll be putting the information up for Ostara soon. Check out my Facebook page, of course, my YouTube channel. If I happen to disappear a little bit over the next few days or weeks here on YouTube, I don't really post much on the community here, but you can always find me on my Facebook profile and or on my Facebook page. My Facebook page has, I'm constantly posting on my Facebook page, usually inspirational stuff. So you can find me there. As well, please, if you can and you like and you enjoy and you support the stuff that I'm doing here, please consider becoming a subscriber, a Patreon patron. Consider making a one-time donation, whatever it is. I would really, really appreciate it, especially at this time of I don't know what's going to happen mentality I'm in right now. But thank you, everybody. I love you so much, and have a wonderful, wonderful week. And I'll either see you next week or I'll see you first. Oh, wait. One last thing. Why the background? I did it on purpose. I forgot that was going to be the first thing I was going to say. Life with someone in recovery or with an addict or whatnot is a roller coaster. That's why I put it back there. My life has been a roller coaster the last couple of weeks. Anyway, I thought you'd get a kick out of it and enjoy the symbolism. Anyway, I love you. You all have a wonderful week. Bye-bye.